What's up, everybody? It's Ben from Retroformance, and look at what's back in the shop. With everything going on, putting this building together, finally getting power to run welders down here, and just a million other projects that we had to get through, we finally are back on this project and are wrapping our head around it. Over the last couple days, we wheeled the project in. We actually got the motor, test motor, up from the other shop and brought it down here and started taking measurements. We got the front end on the table. We're looking at everything from spindle height to cross member height to overall height of the engine. Just getting ourselves kind of familiarized with the project and kind of getting the game plan going forward, because we would like to get this thing kind of buttoned up and tack welded very, very shortly here so that we can have it a roller again. One of the most important things we're looking at is just making sure that it overall will fit between the hood clearance to the bottom of the oil pan. We're gonna have to section the oil pan a little bit, but with the cross member and the power steering, we have to make sure we can get over that before we change where the sump is on the pan. Let's take a look at the front end and see where we're at. So this is the Heidts Universal kit with the rack on it. So what we're doing is we're looking at spindle height here. We're looking at where the cross member's got to be notched for our new frame rails, and then how the old frame rails are going to interfere with suspension geometry. Had to kind of lay that out, figure out where this can go in relation to the oil pan, and just a lot of other things, because we're going to be very tight on clearance here over the main part of the oil pan, and then the sump is going to have to come behind here. Just looking at different things before we finish cutting the car apart, just to have a reference point and have some spots laid out in the engine bay currently, so we only have to cut kind of what we need to cut out, and just figuring out kind of where this has to go in relation to that new frame rail is very important, because as it says in the instructions, measure twice, cut once. So now that the 6B is mocked up for the last time in here, we took a few more measurements, just got some of our positions back to where we thought they were. We got the bell housing and a core transmission case in there for an NV4500 to see what that's looking like in there and how much we might have to remove and maybe build a tunnel up. We took a look at the starter location. We might try to re-clock the starter and weld and modify the starter a little bit so that it's just out of the way, because we do have a steering linkage come down to the rack that we got to figure out. So going to try to give us as much room as possible there. But now that we've finally mocked everything up again, kind of got familiarized with everything one more time, it's all got to get brought out. The car's got to get blocked up to where we think it's going to be, and then it's time to clean the existing frame rails so we can weld the new frame rails to them. So there it is. The front suspension is finally out of the front of the Rambler. The frame rails are ready to start getting cut up and trimmed off of all the other bracketry and just getting ground down so we can start laying out the square tubing frame that's going to run kind of inside here. We're going to follow the original frame rails and box them in with a 2x3 1/4-inch wall square tubing, and then we're going to tie that to the 9-inch forward 4-link that was already previously installed. So we're going to kind of mesh the two, so the new frame rails that we're putting in for the extra strength for the Cummins are going to get tied into the current modifications they already had. Yeah, so good things going forward. Catch the next episode where we're actually going to lay out the new frame rails and kind of match them up and get them stitch welded to the inside frame rails here. That's the goal going forward. And remember to subscribe to the channel for the current updates and other projects we got going on. Take it easy.